There's someone staring at me from outside. Okay. Hi guys, my name is Escarla. Welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited today because this is the start of a new series here on the channel where I recap all of the things that I've gotten into during the month. So I'm planning to do a recap video at the end of each month. I guess you could consider this my monthly makings / knitting podcast, if you will. So hopefully this satisfies you guys that like to watch like the typical structure of a knitting podcast. So yes, we are at the butt end of January. This video will be released on February 1st, but it is a few days before that. And yeah, not gonna lie, it's been kind of a lull here in Southeast PA. January is typically pretty gray and grim, and that's when like the seasonal depression kicks in. I'm really glad I haven't had much of that since I've been so busy with work and with this whole YouTube thing. So I feel like my brain's been distracted enough to avoid the whole like seasonal sadness. But we did have 2 big blizzards this month, which was really nice. I feel like we haven't had a proper snow in like the past 2 years. So it's really nice to see wintering. I say that, but like a couple of days ago, it was like 65 degrees or something, which is absurd and completely unnatural. So climate change is a thing and birds are real. So that is that. Before we get into the rest of the video, I wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping and give you guys a huge thank you. I am so grateful to you guys. A couple of days ago, I got a notification inviting me to join the YouTube Partner Program.
Oh my God! Wow!
And I was so freaking thrilled and overwhelmingly happy. I can't even express it. And really, it's because of you guys tuning in and watching the channel. Y'all are really out here making my dreams come true, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you for tuning in, commenting, liking the videos. It makes such a big difference, and I just can't express how happy I am. I'd like to plan some way to give back to you guys, but I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. I am thinking of maybe doing a giveaway and giving away some yarn, maybe some of my hand spun, just something to show you guys that I care about you and I appreciate you. So stay tuned for that down the line. I'll definitely keep you posted. In celebration, I did want to do a Q&A at some point in February, but it does give me like massive imposter syndrome to ask people what questions they have about me, because like I'm just not used to people caring. So yeah, if you have any questions about me or anything really, comment them down below and let me know, and I can put that video together at some point next month, and maybe I'll pair that with the giveaway as well. Okay, so that is it for the housekeeping, and let's get into the video. So what am I wearing? This is my Rift Tee by Jacqueline C. Slack. I did knit this a few years ago now, probably like 4 years ago, and it's still holding up really well. As you can see, it is a t-shirt and it is quite cropped. Let me see if I can get up here. Yes, so it is quite cropped. I tend to wear mostly high-waisted pants, so I do enjoy cropping most of my knits. It's also nice because you use less yarn and you knit much quicker. But this was knit in Knit Picks Cotton in the color Lichen. And I really love the color. I love like a pukey chartreusey green. And yeah, it's been wearing really well. The only thing is the yarn is quite dry because it is a cotton yarn. That is one big reason why I don't like to knit or work with cotton very much. With the exception of certain projects, because I just don't love the feel of the fabric as much as wool or like a wool blend. At some point I do want to knit this same top in a different like woolly yarn. I do have some hand spun that I spun with the idea of making this same t-shirt, so maybe I'll actually get to that. But yeah, I really love this top and I highly recommend the pattern. Jacqueline Cieslak's patterns are very straightforward and clear and come in like every array of size that you can think of. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing. And the sweater is just a store-bought sweater. I got it at Target and I do love it because it has these big balloon sleeves and it's a cardigan, quite a V-neck cardigan. Now on to the finished objects. So unfortunately, I don't have a ton of finished objects. A big reason why I was so scared of doing like a knitting podcast is because some of these like knitting podcast people be like cranking out the projects and it's just kind of intimidating. But this month was a lot of spinning and wool processing, which I'll get into later in this video. But I did finish the baby blanket for my sister-in-law's future baby. I finished this on January 1st, so technically it was almost a 2023 finished object, but because I finished on the 1st, I am considering a finished object for this month. And yeah, I knit this, I crocheted this in Bernat blanket in the colorway Moon Dusk and Deep Fuchsia. And I used a free pattern by Bernat called the Chevron baby blanket. I'll link that down below if you're curious. I was able to work that up in about 3 days, and I did document the process in my like cozy, crafty weekend vlog video, which I'll link up here. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing the process of making that, check that video out. But yeah, that's really all I was able to finish this month. My first update is my GIP 2 by Andrea Mowry. Here we are. Din, 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 din. So I pretty much knit the remainder of the body, which this is where I started, I would say probably like 2 weeks ago. And I got the rest of the body knit up and I finished the ribbing. I'm currently working on the tubular bind off. I was working on that this morning and I completely underestimated how long it takes to bind off in the tubular manner. So I'm pretty much finishing that up and then I just have to do the Kitchener stitch. And then I'll be on to Sleeve Island. And that sweater's being knit for my fiance, Zach, and I'm knitting it in Lion Brand Pound of Love in the colorway Hunter Green. And I'm really glad that I'm using that yarn because it's a yarn that I've had in stash for probably like 5 years or maybe even more than that. And honestly, it looks really great for it being an 100% acrylic yarn. I typically prefer to work with wool because I like my sweaters to last a lot longer. I feel like when you make garments, it just takes so much more time and I just prefer that it be something that is both sustainable but also that will last a lifetime and probably outlive me. Technically, acrylic would last quite long, but I did notice that this yarn is a little bit like, what's the word? There's like several threads within the yarn, so it makes it really easy, like if you get snagged somewhere, for it to look a little bit off. It's my only complaint, but other than that, I feel like it's been a breeze to work with and really enjoyable. I'm knitting them with my Like, I think it's Like, my Like driftwood interchangeable set, which I typically don't go to. I prefer my Chiagus for pretty much any knitting. They're like the best investment I've ever done in my knitting life. But yeah, I was really hoping to finish that this month. I want him to be able to wear it this winter, but with everything going on, I just haven't been able to get to that. But I am hoping to have that be done by the next video. The next project I just started yesterday is this little cutie. It's an amigurumi crocheted little toy for my cousin's daughter. And this is from, let me show you guys. This is from Animal Friends of Pika-Pau by Jan Schenkel. I did feature this book before when I crocheted Humbled the Penguin. Here he is. I'll put some clips as well. I actually made that for my cousin's baby who turned 1 at the time, and I really wanted to make something for his sister because I didn't want her to feel left out. If I were like a 3-year-old, I would be kind of jealous if my brother got a toy and I didn't. So I actually haven't been able to give her the penguin yet, so I am planning to finish this little cutie. Her name is, wait, what's her name? So her name is Olivia Rosemary Mouse, and she's so freaking cute. I'll show you a picture. I'll probably film a close-up, but this is the cutest little mouse. She does have like a jacket and a dress and some bloomers. So a lot of the crocheting will be like the clothing. So I'm hoping to finish that this week and be able to ship that off to her. But that's been really fun. I've really been enjoying the amigurumi creations lately, and I think I'll probably make a few more this year. I've mostly been crocheting this with Sugar and Cream's cotton yarn, and I love the way it looks. I feel like cotton looks really good in amigurumi, and it also makes it so that it is easily machine washable and dryable. But I am also using some scrap yarn that I have, like the little nose color is just some stash yarn along with the pink. So I really am working on just using what I have in my stash to make this little cutie, which is why she's a darker brown version than the picture. But regardless, I like the darker brown color anyway. I do really love Yan's crocheted creations. She has a few books. You can find them on Amazon. That's where I got mine. And I feel like she has such a refreshing approach to the crocheted dolls. And I really love these little eye button things. I feel like it just makes everything look way more professional. So yeah, I'll definitely be making more of these, so look forward to that. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of this month has been spinning oriented, which is pretty on theme for me. I feel like the months of January, typically December, January, February are like my most spinning centric months. But this month is Spinuary, which I got inspired by Martin from Knit365 blog. He is a YouTuber here on the YouTubes, and I've been watching his channel for probably like around 2 years or more. And y'all, I'm mostly a silent viewer. Now that I'm on YouTube, I've worked up the courage to comment on people's videos because previously I just never really commented. But I have so many channels that I love to watch, and his is like one of my favorites. He recently started spinning, and he started this, I don't know if he originated this trend, but it's called Spinuary, where you spin every day for 15 minutes. And I have had this project on my wheel for a few months, and then I stopped spinning altogether for months and months. And then when Martin started talking about Spinuary, I got inspired to just spin 15 minutes a day and work through this project. So this is from Nest Fiber Studio. I was a part of her fiber club for a long time, and I bought 8 ounces of this. This is Andean mountain wool, and it's a one-of-a-kind colorway that she created at the time. I don't think it's available anymore. But I am working on spinning 8 ounces of fingering weight yarn. So the actual single itself is about a lace weight, quite thin. So it is taking me quite a while to work through that, but I'm almost done with the 4 ounces of wool, which would be this. But then I have to spin another 4 ounces. So I'm really grateful to Martin for reinvigorating my spinning passion, because it really was probably around 3 or 4 months that I spun at my wheel before then, and now I just realized how easy it is to just do something for 15 minutes. Sometimes we think we don't have the time to do certain things that we're passionate about, but really if you just dedicate a really small amount of time every day, you're able to make a lot of progress. And honestly, most of the time when I sat at my wheel, I ended up spinning for like half an hour, sometimes even more. If I'm watching a podcast on my iPad, time just kind of drifts away. So definitely, if there's something that you've been avoiding or wanting to finish, just carve at it every day and you'll be surprised with how much you get done in 1 month. apart from that spin, I've also been working on processing the rest of my Shetland fleece. I did post that video as well. If you haven't seen it, I will link it as well. But I bought this fleece back in October, and it took me a while to get to scouring it, and I just got to that towards the end of December. So I like to slowly process my fleeces now, ever since I made a huge mistake my first time around where I tried to process like 10 pounds of fleece in a very fast amount of time, and a lot of the lanolin just ended up still being on there, and it just wasn't the best job. So ever since, I have decided to take my time and just process small bits at a time. So I have about a third of the fleece left from what you guys saw in the video, and I've just been slowly working at that. It does take a while to scour everything, so that is also something I've been working on, and you can tune into that video for more details on how I do that. So that is it for my works in progress. There's always a little something else that I'm working on, but those are the main things that I've been focusing my energy on. So let's move on to my February goals. All right, so I wanted this is technically an update and not necessarily a February goal, but I finally got my Pom-Pom magazine in the mail. It's really sad that this is the last issue. I was subscribed to Pom-Pom for a few years, and I've purchased many of their publications. And I feel like the patterns that they would release were just so cool and modern and just innovative. So it's really sad to see them go. But I slept on getting this when they first released it a few months ago. And then I dug all of the internet to try and find a physical pre-order. And I found it at Nina's Chicago's website. So I pre-ordered this a couple of months ago, and it finally came in the mail a couple of weeks ago. That's not true. It actually came in the mail last week. There was a lot of delays due to like all the blizzards we were having in the winter weather. So I'm really happy to now have this in my hands. There's so many beautiful patterns in this issue. I would say that my favorites are, of course, the Fortuna pullover and the pants as well. That's like my dream make of the year, which I'll get more into in a second. But I also love, I mean, honestly, all of the patterns are stunning. But I particularly love, let me show you guys. I particularly love the coverlet pullover. It's really beautiful. I actually love the colors that it was made in. But this is knit with Jamieson's of Shetland Spindrift yarn. So definitely a nice woolly color work moment. This would be hella warm, so definitely a winter knit. It's just so stunning. It has like these rings that kind of intersperse and these really pretty flower motifs throughout it. And that's definitely a garment I would love to knit. When? Who knows? The other pattern I really love was Selvage. Oh, I should say, hold on. Coverlet is designed by Olivia Glenman. So that's the designer. And then Selvage is another one that I really love. This issue is all about wovens. I forgot to mention that. So a lot of these patterns are inspired by woven techniques. And this particular scarf has the look, let me see if there's, here we go. Has the look of a woven scarf. It's very, very beautiful. It's kind of shocking that it is knit, but this pattern is by Julia Wilkins, and they used Knitting for Olive Merino. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful publication. But the main reason I purchased this issue, well, I bought it because it's their last issue and I just needed to have it, but also the freaking Fortuna wheel pullover and pants are everything. You guys have heard me talk about this already, and I've just been gushing over this pattern and this designer for the past couple of months. I cannot wait to knit this. So, with that being said, updates. I have made decisions. I did so much digging, like I spent hours searching for the right yarn and what felt right with what I wanted to make. The pattern itself is knit with a worsted weight chain net style yarn, and it's a cotton and baby alpaca blend. And the yarn that the designer used is stunning, but I didn't really want to work with a cotton blend, and I didn't want to work with a chain net construction just because I don't like when you look really close at the fabric, you get a lot of that, I don't know how to describe it, but you know what I mean? Like if it's a chain net construction, it basically has like a braided kind of effect. And I feel like it makes the fabric look more splitty, if that makes any sense. Oh, someone's jamming out there. Okay. So I knew I didn't want to use a cotton blend or a chain net construction yarn. And Elspeth Vance, which is the designer I forgot to mention, I've been following her on Instagram now since I've discovered her, and she has a couple of versions of the garment on her Instagram, and there's this really pretty like color shifting yarn that she used for one of her versions, and that like kind of clicked in my head, and I really wanted to make it like a color shifting color for the black part. So that led me to try to find a color shifting yarn that was worsted weight, which was harder than you would think. It seems like most color shifting yarns are a fingering weight or they're like acrylic, which I didn't want to work with acrylic. So I dug and dug, and then I found Spin Cycle Dream State, which the Spin Cycle yarns are absolutely beautiful. There is no doubt about that. But they're very expensive. They're $36 for a 50-gram skein, which is insane. That would be like probably like $200 or something. No, that would be almost $200 for just the top. And I want to make the whole getup. So I'm not trying to spend that much money. I've never spent that much money on clothes. So that was kind of out of the question. And then I tried to find a Spin Cycle dupe and had zero luck. The only yarns I seemed to find were acrylic blends, which again, I did not want to work with acrylic. I really wanted to make this an 100% natural, like biodegradable yarn. So I really couldn't find anything that would work, and then I decided that maybe I should just spin for this and find some roving that would work really well. So my whole quest to find a really dark roving started, and to be honest, there is not a lot of dark colored hand-dyed roving out there. There's Malabrigo, and they make the, what's it called? I'll put the name here on screen, I don't remember, but I have a couple of the Malabrigo roving that I've used for spinning before. Their colors are absolutely gorgeous, and they have a lot of those really deep, moody colors that I love. But they use a superwash wool, which I didn't want. And their fiber is actually really difficult to work with. I was shocked that I was able to spin with it as a beginner, but you essentially have to fluff the ever-living hell out of it and really get it ready because it's so compacted. So yeah, I wasn't gonna use that. And then I went on Etsy trying to find like a local dyer that made something similar to those colors, and really most of what I found was really bright, colorful yarns or fibers. And then I hit the jackpot when I found Hello Yarn's website, and they also have a fiber club, which I wish I was a part of in the past. I don't want to do the fiber club thing anymore because at this point I kind of just want to spin the things that I specifically want to spin. But I do recommend her fiber club because her colorways are stunning, and the price is pretty reasonable. They're $21 for 4 ounces, which is pretty average to what most yarn clubs were like 4 years ago when I first started spinning. And that's great because a lot of those fiber clubs have gone up in price. They're about $26 or so for a 4 ounce roving. But anyway, so I found this colorway. I'll put it on the screen. It's called, what is it called? The colorway is called Fig Leaf, and it is dyed on Cormo wool, which is very exciting because I've never worked with Cormo. But apart from that, the colorway itself is perfect. It looks on screen like a very dark, like she mentioned that it's like a dark olive color, but it looks like a very dark black with some lighter colors and tones in there to give it that kind of gradient effect. So I'm really excited to get that in the mail. I bought like 28 ounces, and I don't know what that is in grams. I'll put it on the screen. But I essentially bought enough of the roving to spin for both the top and the bottom. So that's the most roving I've bought in one go. But I really wanted to make sure I got everything I needed, since I don't know if she will have that colorway down the line. But since I've purchased it, she did a restock on the website, and she has like 30 more items for sale. They are made to order, so I do have to wait about 4 weeks since placing the order to get it shipped to me, which is totally fine. I'm not rushing any part of this process, and honestly, it probably will take me till the end of the year to finish maybe just the top. But I am embracing the slow pace and just doing this the way that I want to, which is with the color shifting yarn at an affordable rate. Some may argue that you're better off just buying the yarn because you're not spending all that time spinning, but if you think about it, like, people spend money going to like clubs and concerts and like different events, and that money just is gone, you know, in one sitting. Whereas I'm investing in this roving, but then I'm gonna spend hours and hours of entertainment spinning it. So to me, it's like a win-win. So yeah, I ordered that fiber, and that should be on its way. I'm very excited for it to get here. And to go with it, I needed to purchase some white yarn. I don't have anything that would be appropriate in my stash already, and I don't want to spin for that. I do have white Coriadale, but yeah, I don't want to spin for the white part as well. That would be way too much spinning. So I decided to go with Elsa wool. I remember homegirl Taylor E. Owen here on YouTube. She loves Elsa wool, and she's talked about them several times in her channel. And I remember her mentioning that they specialize in Cornwall wool. So it's a small farm. I believe, I'll put where they're located. I can't remember right now, but they're fairly local to me. So I did buy 6 skeins of their worsted weight woolen prep Cornwall fiber. I'm very excited for that to come. I think that should be arriving as I'm filming this tomorrow, but once this is posted, I would have already gotten it. So I will definitely show that off down the line. But those are the 2 big purchases that I made this month. And actually, I have a question for you spinners out there. So the Elsa wool is made with, like I said, a woolen preparation. And I was planning to spin the black portion of the garment in a worsted preparation. So my question to you is, will that impact the final fabric too dramatically? Because I don't really want to spin a woolen prep yarn, because this is roving. It's already set up in like a long pin drafted method. So yeah, if you guys have any opinions, if you're a spinner or if you're like a yarn expert, please let me know. I'm very curious how that will affect the final fabric. I don't think it would be a huge problem. I think if anything, the woolen parts might like be a little poofier, but that might be kind of cool since it's like a checkerboard moment. So I don't know. Any thoughts you have about that, please let me know down below. I would really, really appreciate that. I could just do a swatch and all that, but I just figured I could ask since I have a lovely community now. So yeah, that was a big update because that was like a big mental process for me of finding the right yarns for this project. But yeah, more of that down the line. Stay tuned. Okay, now for actual real February goals. So as of the posting of this video, it is officially Black History Month. And I really wanted to celebrate the month and uplift Black designers in some capacity. And a few weeks ago, Lauren from Mother of Pearl shared on her Instagram about the hashtag, I'll write it down here because I don't want to get it wrong. Hold on. I'm going to share this from my notes because I don't want to get this wrong, but it's hashtag BHM, Black History Month, Craftivism, MAL, Make Along, 2024. Hashtag here. But they shared about this make along going on, and it's hosted by Dr. Charlie Untangled. She has a YouTube and an Instagram, and it's being hosted by Nina Chicago. So The whole point of the make along is to uplift Black designers and dyers and really those who make things for the knitting community. And although I don't want to purchase any yarn because I am trying not to do that this year, I will be using yarn from Stash. So I'm going to be knitting Lauren's carnelian sweater vest, and I'm very excited because I've been meaning to knit one of Lauren's designs for a really long time and I just haven't gotten around to it. So this is the perfect garment for me because I really want a vest that's really cute and hobby and like cozy, and this one is totally it. I'm planning to crop it a little bit more since I mostly wear high-waisted pants. So it should be a fairly quick knit, and I think it's very reasonable for me to get this done within the span of time of the make along, which, by the way, to give you more details, the cast on event will be February 4th on Nina Chicago's Instagram, and the make along is running from February 4th to March 16th. So it's a pretty generous timeline, and there are gifts being given at the end. It would be cool to win something, but like I'm not in it to win anything. I just really wanted to knit one of Lauren's designs and to do something to participate in Black History Month. So yeah, look forward to that. And if you're also participating in the make along, definitely let me know down below. I would love to follow you along on Instagram and see what you're up to. And I'm gonna try my best to actually post on my feed and update you guys on the make along. But you can always find me on stories anyway. Okay, and then my last goal for the month is actually a test knit that I signed up for James and Watts. And I love James's designs. He's really into modular knitting, and he is going to be releasing a new design, I'm assuming like this spring. The pattern is called the Penta Pillar Pullover, and it's a really beautiful kind of striped modular design. And I'm planning to use some of my hand spun for it. The timeline for the test knit is also quite generous, so I am quite eager that I can also get this done within the test knit timeline, but the test ends March 20th, so that gives me like almost 2 months to get that done. It's a fairly easy looking garment, and because it's me, I'm definitely going to be cropping it, and I might leave it as a short sleeve so that I could wear it over summer, but we will see based on what yarn I decide to go with. So I'm excited to do a test knit. It's been a few months since I've test knit anything for anyone. I feel like the last time I test knit was like last spring, so I'm excited to test knit something again and to have another awesome James Watts garment in my wardrobe. Okay, so I have not spoken these many words in so long. I don't know how people are able to just talk to a camera for like an hour long, because I'm literally tired of hearing myself talk. All right, so this is the final segment of this month's podcast, and it is an update on my low spend year. If you tuned into my 2024 goals, then you already know that I'm trying to make 2024 a very low spend year. I don't want to completely cut myself off from engaging in things or buying things that I absolutely need, but I really don't need any more yarn in my stash. I really want to work through what I have and get creative with what I have. So with that being said, I have had a pretty good month in regards to purchasing anything I don't need. My biggest exception to my low spend year was the materials that I would need for the Fortuna wheel fit. So I did purchase that this month. So I've purchased that, and that's likely going to be my only purchase for the year. I might have a small exception, but for that I will budget, and that would be Maryland Sheep and Wool, which is coming up in May. I am planning on attending, so if you're going to be there, definitely let me know. But I will probably set myself a budget. I feel like even though I will be there, I don't foresee myself purchasing any yarn. If anything, I might get a fleece. I really wanted to get like a lamb's fleece, and those are fairly small, and hopefully less expensive. So that might be what I end up purchasing there, but I'm not sure. Really, the goal is to not spend anything, but I feel like if you're attending a whole ass event, temptation will run high. But yes, so no additional purchases have been made apart from the materials that I need for that garment. But I have been eating out quite a bit. I'm not gonna lie. I can definitely improve in that area. I feel like I completely underestimated, like I do most things, how much time YouTube was gonna take from me. So I do have a day job. I do have a 4-day work week, which is such a blessing, but I put a lot of thought and energy into planning these videos and editing them and making them look really nice for you guys. So that does consume a lot of my time, which then means that I don't have as much time to cook. And then I end up having to like buy lunch out and spend extra money eating out. I'm not really buying like really expensive meals or anything like that. So compared to when I lived in New York, this definitely is an improvement, but it's still kind of expensive. So my goal for February is to start meal prepping and to start being wiser with my time. I did take a week off of posting so that I could kind of recalibrate and catch up to get these videos out, or to get these videos edited a bit more ahead from where I was at before. So yeah, that's definitely an area for improvement, is just meal prepping, cooking healthy meals, and just focusing on time management. So I'll keep you guys updated next month on how that goes, and maybe I'll share a video of me meal prepping and what I like to eat and stuff like that. I am a vegetarian, so I don't eat any meat. All right guys, so that is all I have for you this episode. I feel like this is the most amount of speaking I've done in such a long time. I am fairly quiet in my day-to-day life, and I'm not the most, chatty person. So this is a lot. I hope you enjoyed this first ever podcast episode, and I'll be back next week with another video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and leave a comment down below about what your February plans may be. If you're a spinner, please let me know what your thoughts are about using both a woolen and a worsted prep yarn in one project. Very curious about that. And also let me know any questions you may have about me. I would love to film a Q&A so you guys can get to know me a little bit better. And yeah, you can also find me on Instagram as Starseed Creations for more daily stories and updates. And that is it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you next week with a new video. And until then, take care of yourself, and we'll talk soon. Bye.